Hello everyone. I'm going to talk about the storm for next week. Based on what I've been seeing, the trend is to be bringing the low pressure farther north. So that's changing quite a few things. But this is the American model, and the American model has changed quite a bit. I apologize for the shaking. I'm stabilizing the phone. So this is the American model. So you have your big piece of energy coming into the Pacific Northwest off the Pacific Ocean. Your jet stream is down here. Your northern branch is up there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to move through. So that's going to move east. And it brings it south and east. And then this piece of energy is the energy coming down from Canada. That's going to intersect with this eastern piece of the Pacific Ocean energy here, and this is going to merge and form a storm along the boundary here between warm and cold air, along the boundary there. And that's different because the GFS originally had all of this staying south and west, and now it's changed. It's bringing a piece of that eastward. So now the solution from earlier, where there was a possibility of getting a very weak storm, is eliminated pretty much. So it's pretty much there's a better chance that this storm would be stronger. That's what the trend seems to be. Alright, so there it is. Those two pieces of energy are going to combine. There you go. And then your storm's going to form around here, probably around here, and then it's going to move pretty much due east, and then it won't start moving north until it gets out here where you got a strong northeasterly wind pushing it up. But until then, it's going to be more due east. Sorry, that's way too far back. We were right here, so let's keep going. So there you go. And there it goes. Notice how it doesn't have a strong negative tilt. It has kind of a weak one, that's one of the reasons it's moving due east. And it's still going to be taking in a lot of moisture from the Atlantic. I mean, look at all that. Look at all that over there. It's taking in a lot of moisture. Alright, so let's come back here for a minute. Right over here. So this is where the storm is closest to us. If you look at your low pressure map, there it is. And it's pretty amplified. The American model did not have it this amplified in its last run as well. It's pretty strong. And if you look at the bottom, Long Island and New York City is pretty much immersed in heavy precipitation, and this is extending up into central New England, northern New England, parts of southern Maine, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, central New York, New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and then it goes offshore. Okay, so what does that mean though? I want you to pay attention here. So we're going to go back a couple of frames. Now the problem is, look where this high pressure is. Look how far north it is. It's not that far south. We want this high pressure to be like probably not that far south, but just a little farther south, so that it's funneling in Arctic air further south. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening here. What's happening is it's staying up north, and the Arctic air isn't coming as far down south as we would like it to. So I have a problem believing that the Arctic air is going to make it down to New York City and Long Island in time to get a heavy snowstorm. I think north of there you're going to have a good chance of a heavy snowstorm, but south of there I really don't think you're going to get more than 6 inches, if that. If that. So there's that. And let's look at our precipitation map to see when the heaviest of the precipitation moves on in. So this is Thursday. Let's go back a couple frames. Alright, so the GFS is really slow. It has precipitation moving in Wednesday afternoon. Okay? Then into Wednesday night. And then it moves out by Thursday morning. It's really quick with the system, and I'll tell you why. Because if you notice here, this system is still strong, but it really doesn't start to strengthen until, like right now, these two pieces of energy are still technically separated. They don't come together until this is already off the coast. Okay, so watch. There, now they're closer together. They're pretty much together. And look at how much stronger that is. 984 millibars. So that's pretty strong. So it strengthens it off the coast, because that's when the northern piece of energy and the eastern part of that Pacific energy are going to come together. So that's what the GFS has. And another thing I'm going to show you by the GFS is, where is it? Here we go. Just gotta wait for it to load. Here we go. Okay. So this is Wednesday. Now notice that, oops, sorry. This is Tuesday evening. Now notice that you still have lighter blue and green here. In this area here, your temperatures are above freezing. In fact, you're probably going to be into the higher 30s to lower 40s that day. That's about 4 degrees Celsius in this area here. Then, as you keep going, now you're at Wednesday evening. The low pressure is right here. It's ushering in some of that green, so that's a little bit of warm air. So that'll probably be over eastern Long Island, eastern portions of New Jersey, southeastern portions of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Then you're going to be a bit colder further west, but probably not below freezing on Wednesday evening either. All of your cold air is back over central and northern New England, so north of Connecticut and north of Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. And then by Thursday morning this is out, and now your Arctic air follows. And so you see the problem is that this Arctic air doesn't come until that's already gone. Now certain places are going to be cold regardless. So if you come back here, let's go to Wednesday evening. This area, north of New York City, north of central Connecticut, and north of southeastern Massachusetts, this entire area is going to be below freezing the entire time. So you're going to get all snow pretty much. But south of there, you know, probably from Peekskill and south in New York, so that area south, you're going to start out with heavy rain, and then you'll change over to snow late at night as this is moving off the coast. So you get snow on the back edge. All right. So that's what the GFS is showing, and let's take a look at this is our jet stream map as soon as it loads. While this is loading, I'm just going to say that the European is a bit different. You know how the GFS phased those two pieces of energy as the load's moving off the coast? Well, the European phases them a lot earlier. That's the difference. Here's our jet stream map. Come on. Sorry. Alright, there we go. So this is Tuesday evening. There's your piece of energy. And it's going to phase with the eastern part of that. See, right now they're still separated. So this piece has to phase with the eastern part of that. And your jet stream, you have the northern branch here, the southern branch here. They're phasing into one branch and they're pushing northeast. So your storm's going to form around here. And it's going to be pushed due east until it gets here, and then it's going to move northeast. So that's what this flow is showing. Alright, and then as you move through here, this is Thursday morning. There it is. There's your short wave. It's kind of together with the eastern part of this. And your low is going to move up like that. That's what the flow is pointing towards. So it's going to move due east and then coming up north. Now, I think one of the things that would need to happen for the low to track further south and east, which is what would also need to happen to get a heavy snowstorm across New York City and Long Island, this jet stream has to be shifted a little bit further south. That's what I'd like to see. That's the first thing I like to see. The next thing I'd like to see is, let's go back. I'd like to see this surge of Arctic air over here be a little bit stronger and come further south. This way this gets pushed further south as well, and the Arctic air has room to come in, and there you get a heavy snowstorm across this entire area here. That's what I'd like to see. Okay, so that's the GFS, the American model. Now let's take a look at the European. Okay, we'll try to do this quick. So on Monday, here's your piece of energy coming in from the Northern Pacific, and this is up here's all your energy that's going to phase with it. And there, it's already, the European has them coming together pretty early. It doesn't take, the difference is, in the last run it had this entire piece coming together with that. Now it only has a portion of the eastern part of it coming together. That's another difference too. And that's why the European, doesn't amplify it as much as it did before. But it does come together earlier than the American model, so it strengthens quicker. And bam, look at that. You're going to be absorbing moisture from the Gulf, moisture from the Atlantic, and so that's going to be a lot of precipitation associated with this. No matter what type of precipitation you get, it's going to be very heavy. That I can guarantee. Alright, but again, this piece of energy is supposed to completely phase with that, but also notice this is still pretty far south. So the American model has your storm forming farther south than the GFS. I think what I'd like to see is this thing to come and dig further south down into the Gulf here. That's where the ideal snowstorm would form, and it would move up the coast. But instead, it forms here and moves on land, and then doesn't come off the coast until it gets over to the Delmarva here. And that's what I don't like. So if you look at your low pressure map, here it is forming. And then it moves pretty much like this. And bam. And that central pressure is lower than 980 millibars, so it's still very strong. That's a very strong storm right there. But is it going to bring us heavy snow, Long Island, New York City? I don't know. If you remember the air mass map I showed you, the cold air didn't move in until this was off the coast, and you got it on the back end here. And I think the heaviest precipitation is going to be out ahead of this, or on the northern side. And here we're not on the northern side, we're on the southwest side. There's still going to be a period of heavy snow, but I don't think it's going to be as long as previously forecast. Alright, in the next video I'll go over what I think.